Okay, welcome back to Mr. Weston's Maths. Well done to those of you that did simplifying 3 today, and we're moving on to simplifying 4 next. The good news is tomorrow will not be simplifying 5, but I'll let you wait for that one. So this will be work for Tuesday, March the 24th. We're going to start off with this question here. So we've got a times a times a. What do we call it when we times a number? Because remember, that's what a is, a number, by itself and by itself again. That's right, it's called cubing it. So in this case, we wouldn't leave it in this form with the 2 times signs. We would just write it as a cubed. Okay, we don't know what a is, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, the second one of the easiest bits of maths you'll ever see. Again, we just see 3 times a. But believe it or not, people leave calculations left like this, 3 times a. Now, it's good etiquette in maths to get rid of any times signs if you can. So in this case, 3 times a. What do we call it? Well, if we had 3 times an apple, we just say we've got 3 apples. So in this case, 3 times a simplifies to 3a. Okay, easier than yesterday's. Now this next question is quite tricky, to be honest, because what you've got there is a times sign, an add, and a times sign. So we've got to remember our order operations. So in this case, what would we do first? Would we do the multiplies first, or would we do the add? So the times takes precedence over the add, so we would do the timeses first. So in this case, we would have a times 5, well that's a bit like the previous one, different order, but it doesn't matter. Remember, multiplication doesn't matter the order you do it in. So a times 5, we would say 5a, and then we would have 2 times a, we'll do that at the same time. 2 times a, like the one above, is just 2a, and now we can see we just have to add the 2 of them together. So 5a, add 2a, and that will give us 7a. Okay, moving on. The next one, 2a times a. Now again, this one in some cases does catch people out. What we need to remember is that the 2a represents a 2 times an a. So if I just write that down, we wouldn't normally do this, but instead of the 2a, we write 2 times a, and then times a again. What we can see now is, of course, we've got all these multiplications. We can do it in any order we like. The a times the a is going to be the key bit that we can simplify. So a times a bit like the first question, this case will just be a squared. So a squared. And we've still got this 2 to multiply by the a squared. So in this case, we would just say 2a squared. So the 2 is basically timesing by the invisible 1 there to give the 2, and the a is timesing by the a to give the a squared. Okay, so the next one, we've got numbers or coefficients, posh word, in front of each a. So 3a times 2a. What I would normally do to here was start with the normal numbers. So 3 times 2, what does that give us? 6. And then we've got a times a, and that will give us a squared. So in this case, a lot of people will just leave this as 6a. And of course it's not, it's 6a squared because we're timesing the a by itself. Okay, moving on, the next one, 2 times a times 5 times 4a. Well, the first bit's all spread out, but they're all multiplies all the way along. So again, what we can do here is just look at the numbers for a start and just times all those together. So 2 times 5, and then times the 4, which is part of this 4a, because remember 4a is 4 times a. So 2 times 5 times 4, 2 5s are 10, times 4 is 40. And then we've got a, and we're timesing by another a later on, so that will give us an a squared. And so that would simplify all the way to 40a squared. Okay, the next one, we've got 3a squared times a. So the 3, it's got this invisible 1's times by, but it's not really going to do anything much there. So 3 times 1 is 3. What we've now got is a squared times a. Well, that's a bit like the first one. Remember, a squared is a times a. So we're times by a again. So a squared times a will give us a cubed. And that will change the term. So we've got 3a cubed. And then the last question, 6a to the power of 5, I've got to say that, okay, times 8a squared. So wow, okay. We'll start with the coefficients again. So 6 times 8. So 6 8s are, I've got to remember myself now, 48. So that will give us the start of the question. Now what we've got is a to the power of 5. Now remember, that is a times a times a times a times a. And then we're multiplying that by a squared, which is a times a. So we're doing a little bit of, remember our indices work here. We've got a to the 5 times a to the 2. And that will give us a to the 5 add 2. And of course, we've got a to the 7. Of course, the 48 will have to sit there as well. So we've got 48, lots of a to the power of 7. Okay, thank you, folks. All right, so there'll be some more work for you tomorrow, and you'll have the your turn questions on this topic as well. All right, thank you. Have a good day. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye.